Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Generation Y from 4:30 to 5:30 every Sunday from the Bradford studio. I would like to introduce you to my guests / peers. First, Bilal.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam. And Talha.
Assalamu alaikum.
And Dawood.
Assalamu
Walaikum salam. Today's topic will be about education and the different things that happen where education can open doors, the doors it can open. Dawood, education is a very big and it's a known topic amongst everyone, not just the youth, even older generations. How important do you think education is in a person's life?
I think education plays quite a vital role in today's society, among the youth, among the elder generation, just because of the fact that it opens so many doors for us all.
Talha, do you think education is something that can open doors, or would you say it's the person's personality? For example, you say people can talk a lot, that are good at talking, but they could say someone with good qualifications. So do you think education is a big factor in helping life?
Yeah, education, it plays a big part in everyone's life. If you want a good career, or even if you don't want a good job, education is like a must from a very young age. You need to know the basics to get a good job in the future.
Well, do you think that education is a big role as well?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, education is it's the backbone to everything, whatever you want to do in life. If you want to succeed in life, which of course everyone wants to do, you need education. If you want to be business, you need to be educated about business. If you want to go into medicine, you need to be educated about medicine. So no matter what you want to go into, education is always important. But the issue is what type of education, and are some younger students being forced into different types of education that they don't want to study, where they've got strengths in different areas and they're studying things that they don't really want to study.
But would you say that's due to pressure from parents, or pressure from peers, pressure from friends, or is it just they just don't want to speak up?
Well, I think it's about everything. Mainly in today's society, especially education is seen as very important, which it is. We're told from a very young age that if you get a good education, you get a good job, and you get lots of money, so you live a good life. And that basically pressures students into picking harder subjects, your sciences and your maths. And maybe that's not where their strengths lie.
I think it's good to be pressured into education from a very young age, especially by your parents, your family. If they're not going to pressure you, then who is? From a very young age, obviously you need the education. When you get old, obviously you start making your own choices. But at the end of the day, if you're not going to be pressured, then you're not going to get nowhere in life. And in today's society, you need a lot of education to get the good jobs out there.
But I feel like to choose the right path for you, when you're at that age, there's so many paths that you can go down. There's apprenticeships, there's A-levels, you could start working, there's so many different ones, so how do you know?
But A-levels, for example, look better on your CV compared to having an apprenticeship.
Definitely,
because the fact that A-levels is a very hard thing, you've managed to do it, you've managed to overcome it.
Definitely.
Nothing's stopping you. So what would you think, what would be wise? Because at the end of the day, everyone wants the best for themselves. They want to look good, they want to be seen as best. So what would your advice be to someone wants to do something good, but won't be able to manage it in the sense that, I'm not saying they're dumb, I'm saying they're dumb, but they don't have the capabilities, and the fact that they don't have the right skills to do that.
That's why I said I think that definitely someone should pick something that they're comfortable with, because you don't want to be going through A-levels for say a year and then drop out and say do something else, because some might say that that's a year wasted, or at the end of it you might feel like you've wasted a year where you could have went down an apprenticeship route or work. You could have started working, and that could have been more beneficial to you. Them factors could have been a lot more prominent, and they could have helped you to succeed in your personal life.
But don't you think that, for example, A-levels, as we all know, it's a 2-year course now, due to new spec. But because, say you don't know what A-level life's like, so say you fail, or you pass, well done. But if you fail, you have the excuse that you've never really experienced A-levels, and that you should be given a second chance, because everyone does say that you should get 2 chances. So isn't it fair that you get a second chance?
Yeah, that's up to the individual, obviously. If you fail at the end, you can retake it if you want. But obviously there's other routes, like you said, apprenticeships, going to uni, And even sometimes the cleverest people who get really good grades at A levels don't always choose to go to uni. They might choose to go do apprenticeships. They might choose to take a gap year. Like do a job and earn money on the side. It's not always about the not so clever person doing apprenticeships and the cleverest person going to uni. It can be a bit of both, and that's obviously up to the individual.
1 in 3 pupils in the UK when they study A levels drop out during the A level course. Would you say that's to blame to the individual, or would you say it's to the teachers or to the parents, or would you say it's a bit of a mix of everything?
I think it's a mix of everything, especially the workload as well. GCSEs to A levels is a big step. GCSEs you do obviously a lot more subjects. In A levels you do around 3 or 4 subjects, and they're hard subjects. And obviously some people might not be able to cope with the pressure and the homework. And that's another problem, teachers giving a lot of homework nowadays as well. You get homework like every day from every subject, and the workload compared to GCSEs and A levels. In A levels the workload is quite a lot, so that can pressure someone, and people just don't cope with it and obviously drop out.
Yeah, you're saying like 1 in 3 people drop out, and I don't really think that's because they're not capable of getting the A levels. It's really because they don't really enjoy the A levels. Like we were saying before, it's really important for parents to pressure the younger generation into studying, but there's a certain point where they need to kind of back off and say, you choose what you enjoy, because that's where the student's going to excel. If they choose subjects that are seen as harder subjects, they might do okay in them, but if they don't enjoy them, what's the point?
But then can't you say that the parents know what's best for the child? Like, at the end of the day, it's the parent. The kid's not going to know because they've not lived life, so the parent will know. Yeah, you've got your dislikes, you've got your likes. It's like saying when you were back in year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, year 11, you had to study English. I hate English, and a lot of guys do. For example, like a lot of girls hate maths. So you can say that, why should I have to study? If people don't like going to school, so why should they say we should be able to go to school?
Because obviously we need an education. Education is like the backbone to everything, like I said before. If you don't have education, you don't have nothing. But there's a point where after year 11, you choose 3 subjects or 4 subjects. And I feel at that age, students are mature enough and able to know what they're good at and what they're going to succeed in.
But like some parents, for example, like I know some people's parents might, for example, they want them to become a dentist, optometrist, doctor even. And because the parents have got such high hopes, they don't want to let them down, so they accept it. They think, all right, we'll do the biology, chemistry, whatever subject, the main ones they need. And when they're in there, they realise how hard it is, and they think, okay, now I can't do it, but they don't want to let their parents down. What advice would you give to someone that's in that position?
Some subjects like that are ill-suited for them students, and they're pushed towards it. But there are vocational courses that some people tend to neglect. They are actually seem to open a few more doors. Like employers nowadays, they like to complain about basically they like to complain about there's a shortage of skills, and them vocational courses are very important for them skills to be learnt. And a lot of students or a lot of pupils nowadays, they're not into their vocational course because they're seen as sometimes dumbing, or just not as hard, or just not as good as A levels.
Yeah, I think it's obviously to do with the teaching as well. The way teachers teach GCSEs, personally I found was better than A levels. I think teachers in A levels should give you more of a responsibility of going out and looking into yourself, researching yourself more than being taught upon. For example, there's countries like Slovakia and Slovenia, Czech Republic, and they educate students to a much higher standard than in Britain. And why is that? Is that because of less homework? The school days are shorter, and it can make a big difference. Getting no homework, because a child doesn't have to cope with a lot of stress over, oh, I've got this homework due by tomorrow, I've got this essay due tomorrow for another subject, and it makes that, it leads to like stuff like stress and depression.
Like you mentioned about A levels, that it's basically like GCSEs, you preferred it. In GCSEs, you're still young, you're not fully developed, not fully, as you say, young adult as you are when you're in 6th form or college. So you're being basically spoon fed during GCSEs. During your A levels, it's not like that. We'll say they spoon fed you during your A levels, and when you come to uni and it hit you hard that you have to become very independent. Don't you feel that your your sixth form should have helped you in that way by, like now, for example, you'll let you be more independent, so you know that you're ready for that step. So it's building yourself up. Or would you prefer it where you're spoon fed all the way, but then when you get to uni, it slaps bang you on the face, and then you think, what's happened? What do I do?
No, definitely for A levels, it shouldn't be spoon fed for A levels. I think it should be more. You should get more of that uni feel, especially when a lot of youth nowadays they want to go to uni as well. So if they get a feel of that in sixth form, then they'll have a good time at uni. They'll know how uni works. The lecture theatre styles, and I think obviously being spoon fed in GCSE is completely different to A levels. So GCSEs, it helps obviously that you need grades in GCSEs to get out to A levels. So getting spoon fed in GCSEs is appropriate compared to A levels. Obviously A levels, if you don't get spoon fed, that's good because there's obviously a lot of options after. And not everyone wants to go to uni. Not everyone wants to, people like I said before want to take gap years, do apprenticeships.
I disagree with that because it's just, I feel like at A levels you need that support. It's a lot more rigorous and it's a lot more challenging than GCSEs. Although you do more subjects at GCSEs, it's a lot less content. At A levels, it's a lot harder to understand that content, and that's why it's so much harder for the student, and that's why I feel like they need a lot more support at A level than they do at GCSE.
But like now, say you've been spoon fed at GCSE, you've got A's and A stars. You come to A levels, you got A's and A stars. You've come to university, you're like, where's this, where's that, what do I do here? At the end of the day, when you get to university, you do your own research. So for example, now when you go to a degree and you have a PhD student, they'll say doing a degree is much easier than doing a PhD, because a PhD you've got to make the title, whereas when you're doing a degree, for example, say you got an assignment, they'll give you a title to talk about. In the same way is you'll stand there and you'll be shocked. Like for example, now when you come to A level, it's hit you hard that it's a lot in depth. It's 3 subjects or 4 subjects for some. You think, oh yeah, it's minor, whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's in depth, it's in detail, it's solid, and it's intense. So when you come to university, when it's degree level, one of the highest levels that you can out there, what are you gonna do?
No, I understand that it does prepare you for uni life, but at A levels, it's a lot harder. So where some students do excel at A levels, other students don't, and that's where some students fall behind. So they might spend an extra year doing their A levels, or they might experiment and they might happen to go try something else, such as an apprenticeship or something. But that A level is really hard, and that's where some students are kind of left behind. And I feel like that support from teachers is just a lot more beneficial for them, and it just helps to level the playing field.
You know, when you say about support, for example, like teachers will support you in the sense that they'll keep you on time, get to lesson on time, this and that. But now when you're in university and you don't go to your lessons on time, for example, and you're late to your lessons, you don't care. It's not going to get you far in your degree, and it's going to be a waste of first year of at the end of the day, you pay for your university, it's tuition fees, and you've wasted a whole year. People drop out of university. It doesn't look good. It looks bad. And if, for example, when you go to another university and you ask why you left the university, and you say to them, "Oh, it's because I'm a typekeeping. I'm not independent enough." Then at the end of the day, you look at it. You're partially to blame as well, but then you can look at the back and think, "My school shouldn't have been so, like, helping me. They should have like let me be a bit more independent." That's the reason why I think it's a good idea that sixth forms allow you to be independent and not spoon feed you and not have you in a military style school, as it will not, it'll cause it'll have a bad effect, and it could have a negative. It sometimes works, but sometimes it'll have a negative effect on the pupil or student, whoever it is.
Yeah, now what I mean by spoon fed, or what I mean by support, is I don't mean throughout the entire 2 years. What I mean is to be supported, say that first year or the first 6-7 months to prepare for your end of year year 12 exams, because that's where your knowledge and your expertise is actually tested. And them 6-7 first months of A levels are where some students take for granted that they've been given that freedom and they don't understand what to do with that freedom, and they kind of waste it sometimes. and they don't appreciate what they have until at the end of year 12, where they've come out with some disappointing results, and it just doesn't sometimes. It just doesn't look good on them sometimes. But that's where I think that I feel like, although A levels are meant to be quite independent and they are meant to be a lot more of the student or pupil paying attention and doing their own research, it should be, it should be the teacher's responsibility to a certain extent to help you.
Well, he's just mentioned about like the teachers help you and stuff, but the statistics in the UK say that 27,000 pupils at the end of the first year drop out. That's a huge number if you think about it. 27,000 people. That's due to different reasons. What do you think on that big statistic, to be honest?
It's like you're saying that you don't want that jump from A level to uni to be too big because you want them to be ready for it, but don't you think like the jump from GCSEs to A level is too big? Like most students aren't ready for that jump, and as soon as they jump into A levels, they're like, whoa, this is so much. And they do have to do a lot of work by themselves. It's not all in school. You have to do a lot of work outside of school, and they're all like young teenagers, so they've got a lot of stuff outside of school as well. So I think if you can cope with A levels, then I think the jump from A levels to uni isn't that big. So you'd be able to cope with uni as well. But if you can't cope with A levels, like you said, the 27,000 that drop out, is because they haven't really prepared for it.
But can't you say that someone's prepared for it and they've been ready for it, but due to just a big impact on it, and it's caused them to like become I'm not saying become dumb, but in the sense that they've not done well in the exams. They revise, they do all that, but it's just that they're not with it. For example, if you understand,
they're not prepared.
Yeah, they're not prepared for these exams.
Like for it, yeah.
Well, that's maybe because of the pressure that was put on them to pick the subjects that they picked. Like maybe they should have picked something that they really enjoyed, and that's what some students realise at the end of the first year, that the subjects that they picked, because it goes into so much more depth, the subjects that they picked is not for them, and that's why a lot of students drop out and change.
So is that a good reason to take a gap year after your A levels? Because you must know that after A levels you're allowed to take a gap year, but they say you should use it wisely, not just So do you think it's a good idea taking a gap year before starting uni after your A levels?
Yeah, I think it's good to gain experience. Like I said before, it's good to work, earn a bit of money on the side, but also you can research more. So you might, after year 13, you might want to go to uni, but obviously you might want to take a gap year first, and after the gap year you might change your mind and not go to uni. So I think, yeah, gap year is beneficial, but it's obviously the way that you take out the gap year. If you're going to spend sleeping all day, then obviously it's not
beneficial.
it's not good, yeah.
Would you take a gap year, Dawood?
I feel like I wouldn't take that gap year straight after A levels. I'd take that gap year somewhere in uni, depending on how long the course is. I feel like if it's a 3 or 4 year course, sure, take that gap year, take that time that you need to go travelling, to work, or better yourself, or do something productive with it. But I feel like taking that gap year, just because it's not really going to help anyone, and I don't think that's going to have a positive impact on you in any way.
Bilal, what was your view on the gap year?
Yeah, I think gap years are great. I'd definitely take a gap year because it's like the students become mature. He's like 18 or she's 18 or 19, and they're ready to maybe go and see other things and try new things out, because ever from 0 to 18 they've always been taught and been told what to do, and now they're 18, they're adult, so they can maybe go travel, maybe see different things and learn different things. But I do feel like Dawood said, it's really important to be productive in that gap year. There's no point in just sleeping.
Yeah, it makes sense not doing things that are not productive during that. In general, for example, university, it's a big thing in life. A lot of people say when you get to university, you live life then. What's so big about university? What's in university that like now you might hear your parents say, "Oh, you haven't lived life until you lived in university or gone to university." Sorry.
I think it's the freedom. Obviously, you have a lot of freedom in uni compared to A levels and GCSEs. In GCSEs and A levels, like on a lockdown. So when you go to uni, it's like a big step up. Especially if you want to study away from your own city. It's like you have more freedom. There's more stuff to experience, and that's why obviously they say that it's a big step. And
so, but then when you mentioned about the big jump from GCSE to A level, so do you think the jump from A level to university is a bigger jump.
Yeah, definitely, because you have more freedom. You do what you want in a way, but obviously, if you want to study, then you'll study hard and you'll use the 4 years or 3-4 years of uni life well. But it depends. Like youth nowadays, they don't see as going to uni for just go to uni for the freedom, and more for the chill.
Like for example, some people just want to get out, just want to go to university to get away from their parents, have a bit of space. I'm not saying that they hate their parents. I'm not saying that they just, some people do, yeah, and that it's like something they enjoy, that they want to experience what it's like to live on their own. Obviously, your parents are your parents. You can't say that they're not useful, this and that. But people want to move out and this and that, and it's a good idea to go to different universities, even going abroad. Although it is a bit, obviously after leaving the European Union, as we all know, it's going to be a bit of a issue when you're going to go study in Europe. So
yeah, I feel like Tala was saying that to jump from A levels to uni, I don't think it's as big as to jump from GCSEs to A levels, but in a sense it kind of is, because you have that freedom. If you manage your time correctly and you study in the right hours, then I feel if you did fine with A levels, you should be able to cope with uni. But if you don't manage your time correctly, and as you're saying, you're away from home, and that gives you the freedom, you can do whatever you want, no one's telling you to do anything. So yeah, that makes it a lot harder to pass your university, and that's why a lot of people do drop out in the first year.
I feel like the second year of A levels to the first year of university isn't that big of a jump, because people usually use that first year of university to have more or less of a chill year, because they want to get used to uni life, and the basic expectation of that first uni year is to just pass it, just so that you can stay on the course. But obviously that second year of university is a lot more intense, and you do realise that you want to do better, and you obviously you pay more attention in the second year. And I feel like the first year of uni is just adjusting to it, and it's obviously coming to terms with that freedom that you have, but you do have a taste of that freedom in A levels, but obviously with certain restrictions. But in the first year of uni, obviously, if you do move away, there's no family, there's nothing like that, so you're not tied down to anyone.
You know, the government in the UK are making the exams harder, for example.
Yeah.
As we know, the specs have changed, they've become newer, they've become harder. The GCSEs have changed, for example, they're changing them to numbers.
Yeah.
It's all getting hard for everyone. So already with a high statistical number of people leaving, the fact that Britain itself as a country has so many people dropping out of A levels, for example, in their first year is a big thing. As a developed country, it's not something that should be going on. Like, it's a developed country, and compared to many, we should be near the top, as Britain is a known country, it's a good country, it's got a lot of things good about it. And having such a poor statistic about studying A levels and dropping out, it isn't good. So do you think by them making it harder is going to make it any better, or it's going to allow things to be easy for anyone? Or
I feel like the spec for A levels, I don't think it's going to get any harder. I think it's GCSEs that get a bit harder, which again doesn't improve the
new specs have going to become harder
yeah,
for A levels as well.
Are they? Okay. So that will impact the number of people already leaving, because there's about I think it's almost 20% of students in the first year of uni, of A levels, who leave after the first year in their course, and I think that number will only increase if, like you say, the spec does get harder. I think it's only going to increase. It's not going to get any better.
I think that's definitely because a lot more, like at the end of year 11 or at the end of year 10, people feel like, I need to get A levels, I need to go to uni, I need to get a degree, I need to tick that box. But after maybe a year at A levels, after they've looked around a bit, they realise that there's a lot of other ways they can get into. There are other options that they can become successful, like going to uni. That's not the only option. You don't need to get 36 grand in debt just to be able to get a good job.
Boys, I think we'll leave it to that. We're going to go for a short break, and we will be back shortly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.